So I booked my first flight. I looked in there. I said, okay, well, let's see what this is about. Now, most people don't think about credit as something to do for fun. And I didn't either. Like 8 years ago, back in 2014, I had terrible credit. I couldn't get approved for too much of nothing because my credit was horrible. And truthfully, I wasn't really taught about credit. My family didn't teach me about credit. A lot of what I had to learn the hard way. So I had to learn it from maxing out my cards, paying things late, and letting things go into collections and consuming on credit and just doing the stuff that you're not supposed to do, right?
Right.
So I had terrible credit, but then I decided that I wanted to buy a house. I wanted to become a homeowner, and big ups to Calvin for putting people in homes. Okay. Because that's the first step to wealth. And I took that journey to buy my first home so that I can have a place to call my own for me and my 2 children, and have a place where we can feel comfortable and safe and have stability, something that we can pass on for generations. And that wasn't a benefit that I was getting when I was renting. So I made it a goal to buy my first house. But unfortunately, I went out there looking for a house with no pre-approval, and I was getting denied for everything. So I didn't know that process either. And they just basically told me that I had bad credit. You know, I didn't qualify for it, basically. And that hurt. That really hurt, to be rejected, to be told that you can't get something because you don't qualify for it. And I'm like, well, how do I qualify for it? So I took the steps on trying to repair my credit, and I hired somebody to fix my credit for me. But long story short, he took my money and didn't do nothing. So I had to learn how to do it on my own. I repaired my own credit. I took lemons and turned it into lemonade. And I took my score from 545 to a 765, and I bought my first house. So what was crazy was it gave me a new level of confidence. It gave me a new level of security, something that I didn't feel before, but it was just like this overwhelming feeling of just joy. And people started asking me, well, how did you do that? Like, you just changed your life. How did you do that? So I started teaching people how to repair their credit. I started helping them with repairing their credit strictly just for homeownership. And people just started sharing us with everybody. And it turned into a business. And here we are 8 years later, still continuing the magic of our mission. So, you know, after learning about credit, I started learning about building credit. And then when I started learning how to build credit and I had 700 plus credit scores, I started getting offers for credit cards with like rewards and points. And I didn't have a clue what that was at the time. In fact, I stumbled upon it by mistake because my mom had a trip that she wanted to go to Hawaii. And she had already booked the trip, but she had asked me at the very last minute to go with her because my little sister had backed out. So she wanted to go with somebody. I said, bet, Mom, I'll go with you to Hawaii.
Right. No brainer.
Right. I'll go. I just quit my job. This is what I do full time. Of course, I would love to go with you. But the tickets were $600. And I didn't have $600 at the time. So I'm like, well, how am I supposed to make this happen? So I logged into my credit card account and I said, you know what? I'm just going to put it on my credit card. Well, when I went in there to pay the bill, I noticed that I had points. It said, you have points. And I'm like, well, what's this? So I click on it and I had like $3,000 worth of just points in my account that I had no idea was there. And you can book travel, you can book car rentals, you could book hotels, you could book, I'm talking cruises, like whatever you want to do, you can do it in there. So it showed me that I could book travel. So I booked my first flight. I looked in there. I said, okay, well, let's see what this is about. I looked up Hawaii. Lo and behold, there was a flight there for the day that she was traveling. I booked it for free. I traded in my points. And I was like, this can't be real until I got to the airport. And then when I got to the airport, I got through security. And then I'm like, okay, I got the security. Then I got to the gate. And I'm like, wait a minute. I get to the gate. I'm on the plane. I'm on the plane. We get to Hawaii. You know, It's like, wow, if I could do that one time, I could do it again. And so I have been mastering the process of travel hacking and taking trips for free. Me and my family, we've been to Hawaii. We've been to the Maldives. We've been to Dubai. We've been to Curacao. We've been to Costa Rica. We've been to a lot of places for free. Wow. No expenses. Paid for by the credit card company. So I want to teach y'all how y'all can unlock a new level of freedom for yourself and for your family just using credit cards. I'm a single mama too. And taking kids on a trip is expensive, but we did it for free thanks to the bank. Thanks, Chase.
Right.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
That's right.
So yeah, that's really how I got started with it. It just kind of happened by mistake. But I know
Wow.
that if I can do it, my students can do it, anybody can do it. So I'm ready to teach y'all what needs to be done to get that started.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, you mentioned the place Carousel. First off, I thought Carousel was just something that was just at the mall. But apparently,
No,
where's
so
that at?
it's Curacao, actually.
Oh.
So Curacao, they actually have, I think, a liqueur.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm about to
You've
look
probably
this
seen
up.
it
See, now
before,
I'm
but it was
interested.
like most people, I think it's blue. But everybody always pronounces it like Curacao.
Mm,
But it's actually Curacao.
got you.
It's like a Dutch island in the Caribbean.
Man.
But we went during COVID and there was like
Mm,
nothing to do.
wow.
You could only drive on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It was
Wow.
very, very different. But we had a
Yeah.
really good time.
Wow. Man, must be nice. That's got to be nice for sure. Listen, it's been a while since I've been to any island. The only island I've been to recently was either Stony Island or Blue Island. So, but either way, from those of you who are near Chicago, you'll get the joke. Okay. So, but either way, but okay. So now here's the deal. Now that we kind of laid that foundation, we know that you're the expert as far as learning how to maximize these travel points, rewards, things of that sort. How can the people that are watching this, what are some things that they can start doing to do the same?
Well, the first thing y'all gonna have to do is get your credit together. That's the number one thing, because a lot of these points and rewards cards are not going to be available to people that have bad credit.
Hmm.
So remember how I got denied for the house because I didn't qualify for it? Well, you got to qualify for these types of cards, and these types of cards generally need you to have good credit. So about 640, 680 and above, you're good. You can get credit cards that give you points and rewards. Now, there are several cards out here in the market that will give you points and rewards, but I will always say start with the bank that you're already banking with. So if you're already banking with Chase, start there. If you already have Navy Federal, start there. Some of the best travel rewards cards that I have in my wallet: American Express, my Chase Sapphire, my Capital One cards. They all have some really good rewards points, because there's some things that you want to look for at a rewards credit card, and that's how can you trade in your points. Now, generally, you don't really know that until you get the card, but because I have so many credit cards, I have 41 credit cards, Calvin. I counted it live the other day on the channel. 41 credit cards. And most of them have points and rewards. So it's all about understanding the system, understanding what kind of points you can get, how you can trade them in, how much your points are worth, how much cash back you're getting. Are you getting 1 to 5% cash back? Understanding the rewards programs can help you navigate it the best way possible. Because, if you don't have a credit card that has rewards or points, you just don't really know how that works. But once you get your first one, then you're like, okay, I get it. Then you can get your second and your third and the fourth. And then by the time you know it, you're racking up points. Your credit cards are going to be spitting out points like an ATM, where you're going to be able to go anywhere around the world because you understand the points market, how you can accumulate points faster, how you can double or triple your points. Like, I have mastered the game, but it all starts with having some good credit. That's the
I know. Absolutely. And I'm so glad you touched on it, because so many times people will hear things like, okay, I want to take advantage of, getting points and, travel rewards and things of that sort. And they're trying to figure out why their current credit card ain't going to do that. And they find out the hard way. They got a secured card, or they got an entry level credit card. So you touched on a very key point, and that's getting your credit in place. I do want to back up a little bit, because we can't just go past that. You said you got 41 credit cards.
I have 41 credit cards, and truth be told, I didn't even know it until I counted it last week. I was on the channel last week live, and I talked about what's in my wallet, and I gave out a free ticket to our event and everything for the person that guessed the right amount of cards. And I counted it live: 41 credit cards between my personal and my business.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I have like a little over $700,000 in just credit cards.
Man. And then the next question: how do you manage all that?
That's a good question. I get that question all of the time.
Yeah.
So I use an app called Max Rewards. Max Rewards is everything. I don't get paid for saying this, by the way. Max Rewards is everything. It helps me with actually managing all of my credit cards, because you have credit cards that are used for different things. So like, for instance, one credit card that I use all of the time is like my Amazon Chase credit card, because first, you can get 5% back on everything that you spend on Amazon, and 5% back is a lot for a credit card. And you can use those points to buy free stuff on Amazon, or you used to be able to transfer them. I'm going to check to see if you can still transfer them. But because I have different Chase cards, I can combine my points. I can send points from one account to another. They're like, in a way, they have value. So one of the main things that you really want to focus on is which card is used in the best circumstances or situation. One card that I use all the time while I'm traveling is my American Express Platinum card, because I get a lot of perks and benefits by booking trips using that card, free Uber rides, credit card. So I use different credit cards based on the circumstances that I'm using them in, and wherever I can maximize the points as much as possible. So, some credit cards are used because they have a really low interest rate. So I have some credit cards that have a 4% interest rate on them. I have 4 credit cards that have a 4% interest rate on them. And I use them only for balance transfers. That's the only thing I use them for, because it's going to save me money and interest. I don't use it for points because it doesn't have that benefit. But I do swipe the credit cards that do give me points and rewards. And then if I'm carrying a balance, I'll just transfer it to my lower interest rate card. And that's a pro tip right there. But that's what I would do. Man. But I use my credit cards to give me the most points and the most rewards whenever I'm out and about, or whenever I'm paying for something for my business. I put $30,000 a month just on my Chase Inc. credit card. And that Inc. credit card gives me, I think, 1.5% back on everything that I spend. So $30,000 times 1.5% gives you a nice chunk of change every single month. So when you think about the kind of spend that you're using, and you want to think about the categories that you're using them with, and then you want to determine, well, which credit card is going to give me the most amount of points or the most amount of rewards based on my spending behavior. So I organize them by balance transfer, points, cash back, and then, everyday spending type of cards. So I would say use Max Rewards because it's an amazing way to keep up with your points and your cash back.
Wow.
But as far as like managing all of your credit cards, categorize them. And I think that'll be definitely the smartest way to go about it.
Wow. Categorize them. Make sure you guys write that down, guys. So maxrewards.com. We most definitely got to see if, man, I mean, that's huge. Like, guys, that's huge. But hold up. Let's take it back again. Because listen, I hope y'all writing this stuff down, because that's how quick these gems can just get right past you. Let's go back to that pro tip you mentioned. Okay. When you said that now let's go back to that, because I want to make sure I get that right. Not just for me, but for somebody I know. Okay. So, but yeah, if you would, so mention that again.
So what I generally do if I want to rack up points fast, and if I want to save on interest payments on my credit cards. Now, generally speaking, I usually pay off my credit cards in full every month to avoid interest. But in the event that I'll decide to carry a balance, I will use my points and my rewards credit cards for whatever expenses I have, and whatever balance I'm going to carry it and transfer it over to another credit card that has a 4% interest rate, or a 0% interest rate. So if I can get a balance transfer introductory offer of 0%, I'll just put it on that credit card, so I don't pay any interest at all. So, categorize your credit cards, y'all.
Man, for real. and that's such a great idea. That's such a great way to actually do it, because that's the next thing. People, they'll get these credit cards, and that leads me to my next question in a second. But they'll get these credit cards, they'll get these points, and they don't know what to do with them, or they miss out. And that's my next question is, do credit card like points and rewards, do they expire?
Oh, that's a good question. So some credit card companies that do, but generally, no, they don't expire. So you can usually use your points and rack them up over years. But some credit cards, they'll expire some of your points if you don't use them. But I don't have any of those cards in my wallet, mainly because I know that I'm an accumulator. That's who I am. Now, if I'm in the beginning stages of everything and I don't have as many credit cards, then I was using them a little more frequently, trading them in a lot more frequently, but now I'm more of an accumulator. So it depends on what strategy that you want to use when you're accumulating points. But overall, I think that if you want to accumulate points, I guess, faster and quicker, one, use the app. And then two, you want to make sure that you categorize everything. And then three, you want to use your credit cards in whatever circumstances you want to use them in. So, I mean, it really just depends on how you want to use it, y'all. But don't get too overwhelmed, because I think that once you start having a lot of credit cards, it does make it a little challenging to manage them. So start small. Don't get credit cards that have annual fees on them, stuff like that. But get the credit cards that give you no annual fees, where you can transfer points, and where you can get your most spend for sure.
That's right. Absolutely, guys. And do what you guys can manage, because you don't have to be, like Jerry is out here with 41 cards. But but that's the thing, because some of you guys probably can't fathom it. But there's a lot of you all who are slowly starting to build, that strong wallet. And you now have those options. But you guys got to maximize the rewards and points that these things actually have. So that's amazing that you have that in place. That's absolutely amazing. So then that goes into my next piece. Now, out of the 41, right, you obviously have your favorites. If you could narrow it down to, let's say, your top three, which one would you say would be like your top three favorite travel rewards credit cards?
My American Express Platinum. The only thing I don't like about that card is the annual fee.
Damn,
the annual fee, it's like $700 now. It's like $695 now. Yeah. It's really expensive. It is a hefty annual fee, but it's worth it if you're using it consistently. So if you're not going to use that card consistently, then don't get it, because you're going to end up spending to have just to have the card in your wallet, and it's not worth it. I don't care how many American Express cards you think you should have in your wallet. Having one that has a high annual fee that you're not using is just not worth it. It's just not good financial sense. So I would say that my Platinum is my favorite card, but that has an annual fee. The one that I like the most that doesn't have an annual fee is my Capital One Venture One. My Capital One Venture One has a $0 annual fee. And I kind of rotate between the three.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and then my Chase Ink card. Okay. Those are great. Those are my favorite.
There you go. And what's crazy is that even out of all those cards, guys, these are names that we're very familiar with. Amex it seems to always be on someone's list, So, and that, man, but like she said again, it doesn't make sense to have the card if you're not going to use it properly, because now it's almost like having a new bill if you're not maximizing it right.
Exactly.
So. Absolutely. Okay, perfect. Now, here's the thing. Let's say someone wants to get a deeper dive into this, Jerry, right? And they say, you know what? Okay, this is my situation, and I really want to dive deeper into this. I know that you gave, pretty much the general steps, but what if somebody just wanted like, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3? You do have like a course for this, right? Or something like that?
Yes, so I do. I offer a course called Travel Hacker, and it's a part of several courses that we have in our Fly Credit University. And it really does teach you the step-by-step process from beginning to end on how to get luxurious vacations, first class upgrades, and some really good travel perks just by using credit cards. So every single thing is laid out in there so that you don't have to worry about how you're going to get money to pay for a vacation. It's crazy. I did a poll on my Facebook page once, and I asked people if money wasn't an option, if they, didn't have to pay for their dream vacation, where would they go? Where would you go, Calvin?
I saw that. What'd you say?
Where would you go?
Man, you know what? Dubai is still on my list. Dubai or, because, or there's this place, I think it's the Maldives, where it's like, I see the photo, it's like a drone photo, and it looks like it's like an island, but it looks like a tree or something like that. I'm like, man, I need to get out. So, yeah, Maldives for sure. Have you been there yet?
I have. Me and my fiance went there for his birthday 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. Wow, that's crazy how time flies. Yeah, I took him there for his birthday, and it was so amazing. Now, I'll be honest, y'all, the traveling there was a little brutal. It was about 24 hours of traveling. I'm grateful that I broke it up. So what I ended up doing was flying from Chicago to Dubai. And then we stayed there for the night. And then from Dubai, we had to go to a smaller island. And then from that smaller island to another smaller island. And from that island, we took a boat to our island. So it was a little weird, mainly because you're literally on a remote island. So like that was a little creepy for me.
Yeah.
Because like, what if a hurricane or a tsunami comes? It's gonna just, we're
Right.
gone, we're dead. No one's gonna know we're here.
Yeah,
And
that's real.
no cell phone service. So go there, if you just really want to get away. There were things to do. We saw like baby sharks and stuff in the water. We had a nice, pretty bungalow where you could see the fishes in the floor. It was beautiful. It was really, really beautiful. One of the most beautiful places I've ever been.
Wow.
Actually, the most beautiful.
That's
Hawaii was a second. But yeah, put those on your list. Like, make a list. I want y'all to literally, the people that's watching this, or you can put it in the comments below this video. Yeah. If you can go anywhere in the world today, paid for by your credit card company, where would you go? And don't think too small, think big. Like, where would you really go? What was your dream vacation? Because that's what I did. We have an entire list of places that we're going. We're just knocking it off one by one. Yeah. And it's exciting. Because you need a vacation. Let's be 100. You need a vacation. We all need some vacations. We work too much, especially business owners. You work too much to just enjoy life. Just so little enjoyment of life. So you can take the vacations. You could do it for free. And then you can use even more points or rewards to give gift cards to pay for everything else during the trip. So food and souvenirs and excursions you can pay for using your points by trading them in for a little prepaid credit cards or something. And you can use that on your trip. So y'all, the credit card game there's so much more on the other side of good credit. Like, most of us don't think about credit cards as a portal or a way for us to get more out of life. But I am here to tell you that it is. I'm here to tell you that you can set yourself completely free just by using other people's money. So get my travel hacker course, because it's going to teach you how to get more out of life, travel for free, get first class upgrades. My first business class trip was credit card points. It was amazing.
Wow.
And you can do it.
I know that's right. But see, man, thanks again so much, Jerry, for giving this information and just breaking down how people that are watching this can literally just start. Guys, look at what you guys have already and just see, if you're maximizing that. And, and again, make sure you guys check out the Travel Hacker course. And listen, Jerry's always dropping a lot of gems, especially on her Instagram and things of that sort. So, of course, is that the best place to find you, Jerry?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Instagram. We have YouTube. We're at Fly Credit. Awesome. So you can find me at Jerry at Fly Credit. I'll be more than happy to help you guys out.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Jerry. We greatly appreciate your time and just dropping so many gems. And listen, we probably won't have you back to talk more about those 41 credit cards. We can try to see, because I'm sure there's some people who are thinking like, man, is it okay for me to have that many? Absolutely. Or, things of that sort. And, because that's a different phase. And that's the thing is that's the whole point of not just me bringing Jerry to you guys. Okay. It's more so that everything about credit is not always about just improving the score or just rebuilding credit. This is the fun side of credit, right? You can actually maximize these things. That's what these things are here for. So thanks again, Jerry. We greatly appreciate your time today.
Yeah. Thanks, Calvin. Thank you for having me. I look forward to seeing y'all in my course. See y'all soon.
Absolutely. All right.